Hello YouTube, I am back with another review video this time. Last video I did, I remember, was Memoirs of the Past. Bit of a random title, but it was basically highlighting kids' TV shows from the past. But tonight I am back with a proper review, and tonight is Game of Thrones. So, well, what can I say about Game of Thrones? Sometimes it can be popular with some people, maybe not so others. One of those who was not very popular with it was myself. I know. So, obviously when I was younger, I couldn't watch Game of Thrones. Not because of my age, but because, well, I never had Sky and HBO Max, which is what it went on. So, obviously I heard a lot about it. I didn't know whether it would be my thing, because, well, basically you know what your thing is, or what is not your thing, and it wasn't mine. So, trying to think now. So when it all started, when I first watched it, was about, 3 years ago, and it just happened to be on Now TV, and I had it at the time, so I started watching it, and it was actually a friend of mine, a very good friend, who convinced me to watch it in the end. So I've really got him to thank for it, and he has gone on about it for so many years. But I got him into Glee, so we'll get into that another point. But no, I started watching the first series, and well, I've got to say it was definitely different from what I expected. I really enjoyed it. I liked who was in it personally, with with the cast members, because you don't notice who is the cast members in programs until you've actually seen it. It's like with Marvel, for example. When I first watched X-Men, I didn't know Ian McKellen was in it, so I was surprised there. But obviously, I knew that some people were in it, so I was aware about Maisie Williams. Who else was I aware with? Julian Glover. Unfortunately, I knew he was in it. Ian Hanmore. I was aware he was in it. Ian Beattie, Ross Mullen, Miltos. I can never pronounce his last name. So yeah, and I think it wasn't long after my first. No, wait, hold on. No, it would have been about a couple of years after my first Comic Con event. Because obviously I met the actors, and I knew that there was more to them than just like being in what they were already in. And by noticing that they were in Game of Thrones, I was just thinking to myself, you know what, might be worth it. So I started watching it, got through the first series, and I really enjoyed it, surprisingly. Like, yeah, I was really invested in it. And then I got to the second season, halfway through it though, because the reason being, it had a limited amount of time on Now TV. So I had to, well, basically, I didn't get any further than the second half. So then in 2020, it did go back onto Now TV again, and, well, basically, I binged watched it. The whole thing. It literally took me a week. I know. So I started back from the halfway of the second series from where I was at, because I actually remembered where I was with it. So I carried up all the way up until season 8, and my god, some of it I was just like, okay, this is what's happening. But then there were some parts where I was like really invested in it. I was like, what? And when I saw people who I was familiar with, I was like, oh, I've seen them before, or I've met them. Because that's the thing. You get all like stardom and whatnot, and you're all like, what's the name? Like fan crazy or something. But when you see those who you have met, or those who you really like, you're just like, okay, yeah, I'm now interested in it. I mean, I remember watching one episode and Ed Sheeran was in it, and I was messaging my best friend and saying, Ed Sheeran's in this? You never told me that. So, really, I've got to say, I was quite surprised about that. And, like, honestly, personally, I didn't think I'd be into Game of Thrones. You know, I didn't think that I'd be the one to watch it because it's all like, it's basically just full of like uh dragons and sex, pretty much, and sword fights and stuff. But then again, that's the kind of thing I'm into. You know, I like watching battles and stuff. I mean, I saw Narnia, for goodness sake, and that was full of battles. And you know, it was just really good as well to get like interested in. And I didn't think I'd get into it so easily. But no, that's my history of Game of Thrones. So there's a lot of highlights to Game of Thrones. Like honestly, there are some scenes that you really just love. Let's go with a few of them that I like. Um, well, quite frankly, I like the first episode. Like I know that's a little bit of a weird one because obviously you've got your first episode. You're thinking this is make or break. This is whether you're going to continue watching it or whether you're just going to stop there. Because your first episode is basically like your pilot. That could either crash or, like, I don't know, stay on track or stay on course or whatever. But no, the first episode was really good. You got introduced into the characters. Started off at Winterfell, and you meet the Stark family, and then you've got Robert Baratheon coming in as King of the North. I mean, King of the Seven Isles. Then obviously you're introduced to Cersei Lannister, Tyrion, Joffrey, who no one liked. And there has been discussions about this. A bunch. But then it just got really interesting along the way. Like you find out a little bit more about the characters and you get into the depths. Another like I can't specifically remember episodes because it's a bit mental. But there was another scene that I liked with Khal Drogo when he killed Viserys, the whole a crown for a king thing. Well, to be honest, I think that's when I was really proper interested in it because like I'm just thinking, wait a second, what the hell is going on here? And this guy must have really deserved what he did, like, because that was my opinion of it. Like Viserys, he basically got a sword and started threatening everyone, pretending that he was the big king and whatnot, or a dragon. And then Khal Drogo just literally gives him what for. And quite frankly, it was really satisfying to see. um, let's see, what are the other points? Joffrey's death. That was totally worth it down the line. I knew some of these scenes were going to happen. I knew about them. I put myself in a few spoilers. I know I shouldn't do that, but what the hell? I did it. I went onto YouTube. I saw some of the stuff that happened, and I'm like, what? And then I'm watching it properly, and I'm thinking, so this is the episode. That's the one where he dies. It was proper brutal. I mean, just, ugh. Poison. Ugh, proper brutal. There were a few scenes between the Lannisters that I liked, particularly where Tyrion threatens Joffrey. That was a good one with the whole after Robb Stark's death. That one got me. And then the whole discussion of him marrying Sansa. that was a really good scene as well. Like, it's just some of these little things that you see. Um, let's see. The burning of the scepter in I can't think what season it is. I think it was probably season 7. It was with the green fire or the green flame or whatever they called it. I really enjoyed that scene. Um, Battle of Winterfell with the White Walkers. Oh my god! Now that one I'll get into it later. Let's just say I was full of tears. um, the White Walkers, especially that scene. I don't know where they were, but I think Jon Snow was trying to recruit some oh some wildlings, I think it was, and the White Walkers invaded. And that one that one was intense. That was when we first saw the Night King bringing up the dead and making a whole new army, and quite frankly, he freaked the hell out of me. I think that was actually Ross Mullen when I met him. Like, I think that was him, and it was just an amazing portrayal. Like, I did not expect it. I really, really didn't. Uh that proper creeped me out. But I loved it. It was a good scene. Um, I would say probably the Lannisters' song before they went into battle at the uh, it was in King's Landing. It was a battle. It was a battle. That's all I can say. I can't remember the name of it. Um. Oh, let's see. Littlefinger when he died. That was very satisfying to watch because, well, basically he just started all the brawls, didn't he? Like he was the instigator to it. Really, it was it was really intense. Ned Stark, that got me. That was a good scene. It was really well done. Like, I don't think they should have killed him off, to be honest. But then again, like, you've got to kill off at least one. Um, God, trying to think of so many scenes from Game of Thrones here. Ooh, it is a difficult one, isn't it? Hmm. Oh, Joffrey getting slapped. Now that was a very funny thing to watch, particularly in the first episode when Tyrion slapped him in the face. Well done. And then in the second season, again, slapped him. Very satisfying to watch. That was just so funny. Hell, I've watched that. I've watched that a bunch of times. And then he tries to be a little sissy and just tell his mother, "Oh." um, but no, in the season 8, the Battle of Winterfell, that got me. Like, I'm not joking. I think that was the one I was looking forward to because it was really intense. It was coming up to the very end, and there was a lot to see with it. I actually got proper emotional watching it. It was like, this is the climax, and then they kill off so many of the characters, and you're just like, no, you can't kill them off. Those are the ones who you need. But now obviously, over the years, there has been a lot of discussions about the whole thing. Season 8, not the best season because of what happened with the end, with King's Landing and Daenerys, and everything that happened there. And personally, I do agree. I do think that it went a little bit too far. But then again, you can't really change the way that it is. I mean, the way it was written was good, but then when you see it live action, you're just thinking, no. And then when you watch it again and again, you feel like it makes sense, but then you're just like, no, that should not have happened. And I definitely thought it shouldn't have happened. Like, I'm just thinking, too much fire, too much burning buildings, and it was just very, very. Well, it wasn't that great. And then the ending of it was good, but I don't know. You see some scenes from it, and you're just thinking, no, that didn't need to happen. Um, but no, on a whole, I actually really enjoyed Game of Thrones. Like, I didn't think that I would have done. I'm glad that I got into it, and yeah, it was proper worth the wait of watching it. Like, because obviously, when I did start watching it, I was I was 8 seasons behind. Like at that time, it was literally after every single season had gone because it started in 20. I think it was 2010, and then finished in 2019. I could be wrong, but yeah, I was really really behind. But then again, not having Sky or HBO Max, I wouldn't have known where I would have been with it. So either way, but it was definitely worth the wait of watching it because about 2 years ago or something like that, I did actually get the whole thing on box set DVD. So I got the whole thing, and I usually rewatch it now and then, and just remind myself of how good the episodes were and the development of the characters. Like they were really, really good, and I quite enjoyed it. Like it was proper worth it. And also with characters and stuff, I'd say my favourite ones, they were like, well, Jon Snow, obviously, because, like, well, he's basically your main character throughout the whole series. Like, he's always in it. Ned Stark, I liked him. Bran, Arya. Sansa, I started to like halfway through it. Daenerys, because how can you not? I'm just going to let that sink in. Mm-hmm. Yep. Daenerys, Queen of Dragons. Jorah Mormont, he was good. I liked him. I really did like him. Maisie Williams, she was really good. Well, she had the most. I'd say she had the biggest character development because she went through a lot in her character, and I hope that one day she makes a reappearance again, getting her own series. I really do hope so. Who else was good in it? I can never remember his name. It's the guy with the white beard, not Julian Glover. No friggin' way. Oh, I don't know. Lord Varys. He was good. Tyrion. Really liked Tyrion. I always liked Tyrion. He was a really good character. Like, I don't know why. Yeah, he was just really funny. Um, Jamie Lannister, I started liking halfway through the series because I realised he's not the bad guy. He's actually good. I don't know. Well, I like the Starks personally. Personally, I like all of the Starks. I liked all of them. They were all good. Um, yeah, I can't really think there. But no, on a whole, like if people didn't know about Game of Thrones or if they hadn't watched it, I'd probably recommend it because it was a good series. There was a lot out of it, and it was all in all a really entertaining series. And obviously now they've got the prequel out. They've got House of the Dragon. I haven't been able to watch it yet, but I do know that it is coming out on DVD in December, so that will be one for me to watch again. That's going to be diving into that, and personally, I've heard some really good reviews about it. I don't know much about it myself, but from what I have heard, it is really good. So I will be looking forward to watching that when it comes out. Um, and yeah, I can't really say much about other than Game of Thrones about how much I've other than how much I've really enjoyed it. It's been a big impact, and quite frankly, if I didn't start watching it, I well, I would have been quite bored actually. So, all in all, I am really happy that I started watching it. It was really worth it, despite the being behind a long time. And yeah, I think that's probably all I'm going to do for my Game of Thrones review. So I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the videos I've been posting. And like and subscribe. Night, guys.